Welcome back to another episode with 100% Charolais Beef from DeBruycker Charolais of BuyDCMeats.com. I'm going to do today for you skirt steak, and we're going to do a Carne Asada marinade with some beautiful Mexican spices. And then I'm going to do some sauteed peppers and onions, kind of my little twist with all of that. And I'm going to show you how to make homemade tortillas. These are going to be flour tortillas, homemade with some coconut oil, and simple. You'll never want to buy store-bought flour tortillas again, because these are so simple, so delicious, way better for you, no preservatives, and it'll go right along with the hormone-free, grass-fed, grain-finished, and 21-day dry-aged DeBruycker Charolais Beef. So let's get the fire on and get cooking. Let's get our dry rub together. So what I have in here is New Mexico chili powder. And if you're not familiar with the difference, you can buy over-the-counter chili powder, but if you get New Mexico chili powder, it's literally just dried chili. There's nothing else in it. If you look at the ingredients on regular over-the-counter chili powder, it's got so many other things in it. New Mexico chili powder is just dried chilies. So I use New Mexico chili powder. There is cumin, smoked paprika, oregano, black pepper, and salt. And what I'm doing here is I'm just gonna blend these around, and I like to take my meat, and I prep the meat a little bit just by taking off some of those maybe the pieces of fat that are loose, like you can just grab them and pull off. I'll pull those off, just kind of prep it a little bit. I also cut it in half because it's just easier for the grill, because this thing literally is, you know, it's like this long. So it's easier in the marinade and also for the grill. So I cut it in half. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually season the meat first, and then with the remaining, I'll make the rest of the carne asada, which is the orange, lemon, and lime. Juice of an orange, lemon, and lime. So let's get these all dressed up, and I like to kind of rub it in there so we're really getting it down into the meat. I just love how that will flavor every single thing. Now the best part of skirt steak is the fat. This is so flavorful. You're gonna have amazing quality of flavor, and with this marinade, it really will tenderize anything in there because it's a high acid marinade. So it really kind of gets in there and breaks down the tendons and anything like that, so you have a really tender bite. But the other thing with skirt steak, so before I got it all rubbed in there, the meat is running this way, and you definitely don't want to cut along the same direction of the meat, because then you're going to have tough. So on the skirt steak, because of the way it is laid out, this is definitely where you want to go in at a diagonal cut when you're ready to serve. So just remember those things, and always look to see where your direction of your meat is before you grill it and so forth, because then it's hard to see the striations of the protein. So now that I've got that rubbed in there, to the rest of this seasoning mix, I'm gonna add the juice of a lemon, a lime, and an orange. And these, I don't know if you don't know the trick, have these at room temperature, but if they're not, put them in the microwave for like 20-30 seconds. And it works great. Okay. So I'm gonna go in with the lemon. A lot of juice that comes out. So the founders of DeBruycker Charolais are Lloyd and Jane DeBruycker. And Lloyd has been labeled as a legend in the cattle industry and really praised for making incredible positive changes to the industry. So you know, they're very passionate about ranching, and you have to be passionate. You never have a day off in ranching. You know, you're constantly having to feed the cattle. There's constantly work to be done. So there's not a day off in ranching. So you need to be passionate about it. And the multi-generational family run DeBruycker Charolais are very passionate about it. So if you haven't been to buydcmeats.com or DeBruycker Charolais yet, go there and read about this fabulous product and their multi-generational family run business in Dutton, Montana. So this is kind of one of those little things to kind of get a little bit more juice out of your orange. If you get in there and kind of squeeze with your tongs or fork, whatnot, it helps a lot. I'm gonna mix that in there. Then I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna add some oil as well. So we've got acid and oil to make our marinade along with those spices. This is actually chili oil. So I am cutting the chili oil with just straight olive oil because the chili oil gets a little hot. But if you like more heat, go straight in with the chili oil. If you don't have chili oil, just use straight olive oil, that's fine. But I like to have just a little bit, it's adding that layer of flavor that you hear me talk about all the time. You're creating more layers when you add something like an infused oil. Okay, now I got this. I'm just gonna set that aside until it kind of blooms a little bit. Now this is one of the other things I'm gonna show you. This is gonna have cilantro, but I wanna save my leaves for finishing. But the stems of cilantro have so much flavor that you can utilize in marinades. It's a great little thing. So I like to do, literally, I'll take the ends of my cilantro, save that, and then I will put this underneath my tongs. Put this underneath my meat, and when I add in all of these other elements, the cilantro will infuse into that as well. But I also want to you can have some leaves in there, that's fine. I'm going to add a couple of cloves of garlic as well and smash it. That's what I do. I just kind of like take the little ends off, and I'm saving all of that for my trim bag. You've heard me talk about that before. Save your little ends for trim bag. And then just come through and smash that garlic. And then it goes right in. That's it. Because this is just for the marinade. We're not going to be sauteing this. So you're just wanting to infuse the flavors in that oil and so forth. Now we're gonna let this marinate at room temperature for an hour. So it would be better if you could let this marinate for a couple of hours, but it's got a high acid. So if you want to marinate this overnight, you need to increase the oil so you don't have such acid forward. But the benefit of using the acid is it's quick. It's a quick marinade. We like quick, because when we're hungry, it's time. I do get that hangry stage. So I've got a few cloves of garlic in there, just smashed. It's perfect. And then I'm also going to do the same thing with jalapeno. Now I'm going to do slivers, like so. I don't care, I'm going to leave everything intact, because again, we're just marinating. So I'm going to put that in there and kind of nestle it down around to different sides and edges. And now, let's pour our marinade over. Give it a little zhuzh. Let me put this up here so I don't reach out so far. Getting messy. Messy in the kitchen. There we go. Beautiful. And just kind of slather that over the top of everything. Make sure you get it all. And then what I like to do is just kind of, I'll lift up the meat and swish it around in there so I've got a good amount on all sides. And as I'm letting this marinate, I will flip it like every 15 minutes or so you really get a good coating on both sides of the protein. So that skirt steak is marinating nicely. I've flipped it a few times. I'm just going to continue to do that. So I'm going to do for a side is sauteed peppers and onions. And a lot of times people will do red and green bell peppers with the onion. I'm going to do a poblano because again, this is carne asada. I don't have a lot of heat. I want to have just kind of that something maybe a little bit more than a bell pepper, get a little bit more kick, but when you saute it with the sweet red and the onion, it softens and mellows, but you get that interesting little pop. So let's get these all prepped up and we'll get them ready to be able to saute off. I'm going to show you now how to make wonderful flour tortillas. So simple, and all it is all-purpose flour, salt, and fat. It's simple. This is traditional, simple ingredient. Flour and salt and fat. Now, my fat that I'm going to use today is coconut oil, but the hard coconut oil, not the melted stuff. So then you can also use lard, would be really good, bacon grease, or you can use an oil or butter, but I'm using coconut oil. And all you're gonna do, cut that into your flour and salt until you kind of have a crumbly mixture. And then the next thing is hot water. So I don't do boiling water, my tap water is really hot, so I just use hot tap water and that's it. So you can see it's just kind of crumbled there. There we go. And now with our hot water, you're just going to stir it in. I have a tendency to, do a portion, not do the whole thing all at once, because it really kind of depends on how you measure your flour. If you measure your flour packed, you're going to need more water. If you measure your flour loose, then you'll need less. That's the thing, but that's also why in baking we have a tendency to, professionally, we weigh everything, because it just makes it so much more accurate, because baking is a science. Now, I've got a clean surface here, and I'm just going to dust it with a little flour, and we need to take this craggly dough out. You can kind of see it's just kind of what we call craggly. It's not like perfect together, but as soon as you start kneading it, you're going to start to develop gluten. And the gluten is what makes it bouncy. There we go. Now, see how it's just kind of coming together and staying together? That's perfect. It's not really sticky. It's not sticking to my board. I'm gonna do this, and we're gonna cover it with a towel and let that rest. Our tortilla dough has rested, and so now what I'm gonna do is divide that up. I'm gonna divide it up equally as you can. This is where I love to use my bench scraper. Let's take a bench scraper, divide it in half, and then it halves again, so you got quarters, and then those quarters into eighths, like so. Then you take one of those little portions and you're gonna roll that into a ball. And again, once we roll these into a ball, they're gonna rest as well. So again, I don't know if you've ever worked with a lot of like pizza dough and stuff like that when it's got gluten in it, and same thing with this tortilla dough. Flour, and as soon as you add a moisture to it, starts to develop gluten. And if you're rolling out tortillas or pizza dough, what happens is you roll it out and then it constantly wants to be coming back in. It's the gluten. So when you let it rest, you relax those glutens so it'll hold its shape. So, a little tip for the next time. So there we go. And now we're gonna cover these and let these rest for about 10 minutes. So I have a tortilla press. If you do not, you can just use a rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, use a wine bottle. But with the tortilla press, it's just so much easier. And if you really love making homemade tortillas, it is the bomb. When they puff up like that, the steam is actually cooking the inside of that tortilla. So we like that, we like bubbles, that's what you're looking for. Yeah. That looks amazing. I've also got my veg over here, and I toss that with a little bit of light oil and some salt and pepper, and just gonna saute those up in our little basket, our grill basket, which I love. And then we'll put everything together. So remember, food talks to you. If it's ready to flip, it'll tell you. Oh my gosh. Yum. Yummy, yummy, yummy. You're loving my tummy. So the DeBruycker family really care about ranching. It's the quality of life, the endless views of Mother Nature as we're enjoying Montana today, and you have to be passionate about the ranching life, which the DeBruyckers are, multi-generational. So good. Yay! All those beautiful char marks, even on our veg. This 100% Charolais beef skirt steak has rested. Gorgeous, gorgeous grill marks on it. We're gonna slice that at a diagonal and then pair it all up with our sides. Oh my gosh. Perfectly medium rare. Love it. Take that little. It is so amazing. That beefy flavor of that skirt with that beautiful marbling in it and the dry age process brings out just amazing beefy flavor. I love it. Yes, okay. Now I'm going to build out some of these tacos here. Yum, yum, and yum. Nice grill marks on my veg. Not too much. Add a little bit of that poblano and the onion. Yum. Okay. And then let's add in a couple slices of the skirt. And just because I like it, I'm gonna add cilantro and a little fresh squeeze of lime juice. So very traditional. And then I'm gonna take a bite. Because this is like an appetizer. Right? Oh, and those tortillas just turned out awesome. Look at oh, yes, I know this is gonna be messy for me, but I have to take a bite. Yum. You really get the brightness of the Carne Asada marinade with all that citrus, and it really has gotten all the way into the protein. It's a beautiful, beautiful flavor bite component in that homemade tortilla. It's winner skirt dinner, trust me. You won't go wrong. Check out buydcmeats.com and really look into their subscription boxes and catch me on social media. I'm Chef Shelly Meyer. Thanks for tuning in.